Hey, guys, it's Rey Parra here with Is It Wrong? And I got my special guest today, Dave Kruse from the Covenant Metal Show. How you doing, Dave?
Oh, nice. Doing good, man.
I ain't got one of those shirts yet. What's up? Yeah, but look at mine, bro.
Dude, Anchor merchandising, bro. Shout out to Anthony.
That's right. We use the same merch guy. I love that. I love that guy. That guy does like the best designs and everything, man.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, we'll be putting up a link afterwards for all the merchandise that you can get from Anchor. You can get Sacred Warrior, you can get Dave Kruse, you can get Deliverance, but we're not going to talk about all them bands. We're just going to talk about Dave Kruse and Rey Parra doing a podcast. We are co-hosting together our own podcast, One for Another. Dave?
Yeah.
You look like a deer in headlights.
Go!
What's that?
I said, we're doing kind of like a crossover, man. Covenant Metal Show and Is It Wrong with Rey Parra, man.
That's right, buddy. That's right. Yeah, a minute ago I said Dave, and you're like, go! You look like a deer in headlights. Hey, I'm going to tell you, speaking about a deer in headlights, I'm going to tell you a funny story. Our first time we ever played live, ever, Sacred Warrior, we're all a bunch of kids, right? We played with, I don't remember who it was with, but I remember I was in the restroom, man, just before we went on stage, and I'm like, oh, man, I was all nervous, right? I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? And you know what? I went up on the stage, and I grabbed the mic, and I was like, you know, like a deer in headlights, right? Go! But as soon as the band started, as soon as the band started playing, and as soon as I said, when that first song was over, and everybody's like, I was like, this ain't so bad. I can do this, you know? Kind of took the fear away. You ever get like that?
Oh, dude, yeah. I haven't been on stage in 10 years. Well, I kind of take that back because September last year, I got up on stage and did one song with Weapons of God. And I don't know, man. I wasn't nervous, you know? But, I remember my very first show. Oh my gosh, man. I put my foot up on one of the floor monitors in front of the stage, trying to be all cool. We were playing in this bar, and my first band, our first gig, and I put my foot up trying to be all cool and everything, right? And really rocking out and getting into it. And I fell off the stage, but I caught myself, and I was like, you know what, forget it. And I just stood there on the floor in front of everybody and just kept singing, man. And it was just funny, man. But
you're like, hey, it's part of the show.
Well, thankfully the stage was only 6 feet above the floor, or 6 inches rather above the floor. So it was like tripping, you know.
I was gonna say 6 feet. You know what happened to me if I fell 6 feet from the stage? I'm gone. I'm dead. Not only mostly dead, but all dead.
So, you'd be dead. I'd be like breaking something, you know. Like myself.
Bro, now I got to tell you a monitor joke. Not a joke, but I'm almost embarrassed to even talk about this on here. Another show. Oh, man. Man, I don't even want to tell you the band we were playing with. It was a secular band, and we were the opener. And I wore spandex, but I've never worn makeup. All you who say I've worn makeup, it's a lie from the devil. I've never worn makeup. I don't wear makeup.
No. Only off stage.
Well, maybe on Halloween or something. Maybe in my private life, you never know. Is it wrong?
Hey.
But so listen. So, dude, we are playing this show, and I'm in spandex, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to put my foot on the monitor. I'm going to sing. I'm going to point at the crowd, you know, and I'm singing. I put my foot up on the monitor, and I'm pointing at the crowd. And my cousin, Ben Parra, he's like right in front, and he's pointing right at me, right? And I'm like, yeah, Ben, yeah. And he's like, and he's doing this, and I'm like, yeah. What he was trying to tell me is I had a tear in my pants, right in my crotch.
Air conditioning.
Oh, bro. And back in those days, you didn't wear underpants. You know what I'm saying? It was like, man, the most embarrassing thing ever.
Oh, dude, the tweaking berries and everything.
Bro, I will never forget that. I was embarrassed and
oh yeah,
you know, it was one of those things. You ever had a real embarrassing moment like that?
No, falling off the stage, that was it, man. Well, almost had an accident on stage, man. Same band, my first band. We were playing at this other place. Now this stage was good 6 feet off the floor, right. And our bass player This guy, I don't know what his deal was, but he come running up behind me to get to the front of the stage and bumps into me, and I lose my balance. And I caught myself right before I fell off the stage. I told him later, I'm like, dude, what's up with that? You know, like, did you not see me in front of you or something? He's like, I'm sorry, man. I was just feeling the moment and everything. And I'm like, well, feel the moment a little farther away next time, you know?
But the thing is, at least you had an excuse. You didn't just like fall on your own. You got pushed or tripped or whatever. So, you know.
Oh, dude, same guy, another show. We were actually opening for Ultimatum. And this was, I lived in Albuquerque for like almost 5 years, like 4.5 years. And we did this one show, same guy. He comes up behind me. He's standing on my mic cord, and I'm trying to get his attention like, dude, move. And he was standing on it to the point where I had to bend over and sing because I had no slack. That's great. On the cord. And it was like, really, man? You know, but
dude, maybe you started that movement where everybody's singing down low. You know what I mean? There's a lot of guys, they like to squat down. Maybe you started that. You never know, right? In the comments, if you think Dave started that, so let us know. There you go, man. You know, I'll take full credit, man. I'll take full credit.
Oh,
man. Dude, well, I remember one time we were on stage and Bruce, back in the day, we used to call him Barbie. Why? Because we thought he was a pretty boy, right? With the long blonde hair. And, dude, so we're like on stage. Well, what he didn't know, Bruce would always take his guitar halfway while he's playing, and he would flip his guitar upside down, and on the backside of his guitar, it would say Jesus, right? Well, Paradox was playing with us, and Fernando, the guitar player, he took and put a Barbie sticker on there. And Bruce is playing. He's like, oh, yeah, he's pointing out at the crowd. Flips his guitar up, and it said Barbie instead of Jesus, man. And everybody started cracking up. Everybody's like, yeah, Barbie. So he got the nickname Barbie from Fernando through doing that with his guitar. It was great, man. And he's not living down to this day. We still call him Barbie.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. That's hilarious, dude. Man, yeah, I bet you got a ton of stories, man. That's awesome.
Oh, man. I do. Dude, I got so many stories, man. And someday we'll get together and maybe we'll do this again in a later episode and just talk about some real cool stuff. You know, I got so many things that God did for us on the road and just, man, promoter, just everything. I'll be talking with Rob Rock. I'm going to present one with him next week. And the main topic with him and I, we're going to have a lot of fun and stuff too. But the thing we were talking about is how Christian promoters have this thing in their mindset where, we'll bring a band in and we'll pay them or we won't, and what they don't realize is bands are pouring their heart and soul into doing these shows. They're traveling, they're losing work and yada, and they're hurting. I'm sure
most of the time that's all most of the time that's coming out of the band's own pocket.
It is.
It is. And they're not going to get that back. Yeah.
It is. But you know what's great? You look forward to today. Steve from the BMI Event Center, the guy who puts on Immortal Fest, that guy is a class act. I'm going to have him on here one day. He doesn't play with anybody. He does shows. He brings them in or he doesn't bring them in. Whatever comes in, he still pays every band what he promised them. He gives them half up front and half when you get there. I mean, who does that? You know what I'm saying? We need to collectively pray for the BMI Event Center, for Angie and Steve, and pray that God would just pour his blessings into that, man, because they are doing such a great thing. They've created a community of people, not just bands, but people. I've met so many people there that I call good friends now. We've stayed in contact. You see them show after show after show. You go out to eat with them. And it's so incredible the things that is doing. Kind of like, you remember the old Cornerstone Festival?
I never got to go, dude. By the time I became a believer, it was wrapping up and ending.
Ah, okay. Well, that was another one. It's just great thing that they did for many years. It was put on by Rez Band, Glenn Kaiser and Wendy and all them guys, but same kind of thing, man. Just people of great character, man, And you meet all kinds of people on the road, and some you say praise God for them, and some you go, my God, but it's just one of those things, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, like the BMI Event Center, I've been to all three different Immortal Fests. The first one, 2022, and then the two this past year. And then I'm going again to both of them this next summer.
Yeah,
And oh, yeah, absolutely. And no Deny the Fallen this year.
I know, man. I know. We're taking a break on Deny the Fallen, but Sacred Warrior is going strong, man. We're going strong.
Yeah.
And then I'm working on Worldview 2 with George and Terry and Todd and everything. I'm actually going up there
man.
The middle of February to finish tracking all the vocals for that record. And that'll be all done. I'm just
George has got to be super busy.
Oh, he is, man. With Human Code and
yeah, he just I haven't heard anything. Now is Human Code, is that close to being ready for release?
You know what? I don't want to lie, so I'm not going to say because I really don't know. I saw a text today between the guys and I, and George was talking about that record. It's getting really close to being completed. It's a little
Very
different
cool.
with him versus like what we did with Deny the Fallen, because with Deny the Fallen, John had recorded all the music in Mexico, and he came here and we recorded all the vocals in my studio in my home.
Right.
And then we had everything. He mastered it, he mixed it, he did everything, so that was a lot easier. George, the way he's doing it is just a little different. It's actually quite a bit different, but he's got a lot of players in place. Like a football team. You got this guy that does that, you got that guy that does that, and there's so much encompassed. Where with Deny the Fallen, John pretty much was handling all of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I have had a chance to hear quite a bit of the album, and it's going to be a great album. It's going to be a great album.
I've heard 4 songs from it, and dude, oh my gosh, Socially Incorrect. Oh my gosh, that of the 4 I heard, that is my favorite. That's a good heavy banger right there, man.
I'm socially incorrect. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Mike. Sorry, bro. I had to. Is it wrong?
Is it wrong?
Is it wrong for Ray to sing like Mike Lee from Barren Cross and Human Code? Not at all.
Oh, dude, you could pull it off, man. Absolutely.
We're two totally, completely different vocalists. You know what I'm saying? I can pull off Dio really good, and I can pull off Jeff Tate. But Mike, I don't even know that I would want to. You know what I'm saying? Mike's just got his own style, his own song, and he's great. But Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. So Dave, tell me what's going on with the Covenant Metal Show these days.
Oh man. A lot of great stuff, man. I've hung it up a few times over the years, but the Lord always keeps bringing me back to it, because the Lord's like, hey, I didn't tell you to hang this up, So I keep coming back. And, in the past, when I hung it up, it was basically, I would get discouraged, man, because I was doing it as a radio show, and even though people knew about the show and they knew me from the show, nobody was really listening to it. So I prayed about it. The Lord has put it on my heart to do it as almost like an old school, like your shirt, dude, Headbangers Ball, kind of like that. But, do different segments, man. Yeah. Absolutely. And, the Lord gave me some ideas, and actually, Anthony from Anchor Merchandising, he gave me another great idea too for the show. And I don't want to give too much away.
Sure.
But, but yeah, it's going to be exciting. And just like Is It Wrong, I want the Covenant Metal Show to grow as much as the Lord wants it to, and to reach, as many people as possible. And it's about the bands, it's about the music and all that. But first and foremost, man, it's about, bringing glory to God and bringing people to his kingdom.
Amen.
Yep.
And showing people, if they're, there's going to be a lot of people that watch this that might not be Christians. And that's my prayer and my hopes. But to show them that we're real people and we can have a good time, and we're not all stiff collared and glory, we're just real people. We keep it real, man. We have fun just like you, and we do the things we wanted to. We just do it in a different way. We do it in a way that brings glory to the kingdom, right?
Absolutely,
and I know, Dave, I know that I've prayed for you and through you, you not even knowing several times that when you've asked for prayer saying, I'm thinking of hanging up the Covenant Metal show and, da 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 da. And I want to say this, Dave. It seems like over the years you see people, and I'm not so much podcasters because I'm new into this, but a lot of times people give it up just before that point where they're ready to go over, and then you give it up, and then it doesn't happen because you gave it up. You know what I'm saying? So right. I'm glad that you're back. I'm glad that you're doing this full force, and I want to help you any way that I can. Guys, subscribe to the Covenant Metal Show. At the end, we'll put a link on here where you can go on there and let's support each other, man. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
You can gain some of my listeners, and I can gain some of yours, and let's keep this thing moving, bro.
Absolutely, man. Sincerely. So, speaking of like shows and whatnot, like what I was like excited when I saw, when you sent me the link for Is It Wrong, and you're like, hey Dave, bro, can you share this? And I was like, dude, you got a podcast now, right on, So I shared it all over the place, man, blasted it out there and stuff. Mm-hmm. But so what led to you deciding, hey, I want to do a podcast? Because like to me, it seems like something you would have done a long time ago,
Right. Dave, it's weird. My personality, I'm a talker. I like to talk. I just like people in general. I always like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I like to bring out the joy in people. And I like to let people see that I'm a real guy. I'm sure you've seen interviews with me with Les Carlson or wherever. I like to keep it real. I am who I am. And I thought me bringing a podcast out and do it unedited, just do it live, so to speak, just let people in my world, because, I get so many people that say, man, you ought to do a podcast on cooking. Everybody knows that I love to cook, and I think I'm a real good cook when it comes to smoking, and I want to do some of that stuff. And then people are like, oh, man, you ought to do a podcast on relationships, because my wife and I have such a great relationship that it's infectious. People cling on to that. We're 34 years married, and I love that girl, And so if I start a podcast, I could talk about pretty much anything. And the whole Is It Wrong thing, it's like I said, that's got a side meaning, but for now we're going to keep it as, is it wrong to do a podcast? Is it wrong to be in 3 bands? Is it wrong for 2 podcasters to be doing a show together? And stuff like that, just, man, is it wrong to share one another's burdens? Just whatever people want to talk about, and bring life to it, and just say, hey man, look, I'm here. I'm the real me. I'm no big rock star. I don't consider myself a rock star. I'm just Rey Parra. I want to be your friend. That's what made me decide to do this. And of course, a little encouragement from my wife.
Yeah. And, like you and I first met in person, 2017 SoCal Metal Fest in California.
I remember that.
Yeah. And you were there for Worldview and Recon. And it was, I remember leaving there, like after meeting you, and I'm like, I could have sat there and just talked to Rey all day long. I was like, man, he's a teddy bear, and it was just, it just blew me away. And it's funny because I've come across, some people on Facebook and stuff, and they're like, oh my gosh, so-and-so, and they get all excited and this, that, and the other, and they get fanboyed out and everything. Yeah. And I'm like, chill, dude, chill. It's like, yeah, they're well known and stuff like that, but it's like I've met these people, I've hung out with them, and I've even told people I've been to Rey Parra's house, and I hung out with him and his family, and it's like, I'm like,
you ate menudo with us, didn't you?
No, it was street corn, dude.
Oh, street corn. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. That was my very first time ever having it, and nothing has topped it. Nothing has topped that. I had like a street corn casserole one time that was pretty good, but nice. it did not top what you did, dude. So, you're still the reigning champ, dude.
Ought to get me a belt, right?
And a crown.
Yeah, I got one right here. Let me talk about this.
There you go.
There it is. You see that crown? I have had so many people say, hey, what are you in a gang? The Latin Kings. The Latin Kings is a gang from Chicago, and their symbol is a crown. It's a 5-pointed crown. This is only 3. So my whole life with Trissy, I've always said she's my queen. and she said that I'm her king. So she did one on her left hand, and I did one on my right hand. And when we're walking, holding hands, you see the two crowns together. You know, so it's got a very special meaning.
That is cool. I like that. That is awesome, man. That's really cool to hear that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it's so weird because like I was afraid that when I met, you know, people who were legends and icons and well known in Christian rock and metal, that I would be all geeked out and stuff. Yeah. And it's like, no, man, you know, I mean, and you know, I've known you for over 6 years now, and you know, we've hung out, like I said, and we met in person a few times. So it's like, you know, it's, you know, and we're buddies, and, you know, but it's still, sometimes I'll see people post stuff on Facebook or comment, you know, and they get all geeked out and everything. And I just sit back and I just kind of laugh, like, you know, if you really met these people and just hung out with them, you wouldn't be all geeked out. You'd be like, hey, you know, like you're just like my buddy, you know, whoever, you know? Yeah. And that's how it is. Now, I did get geeked out once, and this was way back before I started the Covenant Metals show. In 2012, I saw Stryper for the first time. A buddy of mine surprised me at the show. He gave me a VIP pass, said, hey, man, you want to hang out with the band backstage after the show? And I was like, dude, really? I was like, oh, my gosh. And I wish I had known ahead of time, because I paid a good chunk of money for the meet and greet. Oh, and I was going through the meet and greet, and I'm going up, you know, talking to them, and I talked to Tim a little bit and Oz a little bit, and didn't really talk much with Michael or Robert. But I had them sign stuff, because, you know, there's a bunch of people, so they're moving you through the line real quick.
Oh yeah, of course.
But dude, I remember I was so nervous. I was shaking. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Stryper. I've been listening to these guys since I was in junior high, you know? Wow. But by the time, you know, after the show, and I got to go backstage, it was just all of that nervousness and everything. It was gone. You know, and I got to see them, and they were just real dudes, man. No egos, nothing. And that's something I have seen a little bit of it in Christian rock and metal. I've seen some egos, and and it's weird, man. I've seen it more from these young up and coming bands than I have from, you know, like bands that have been around a long time, like Warrior. You know, you know, I don't see any of that.
Yeah, let me interject here for a second. It's funny that you say that, because even myself, the position I'm in with Warrior, right? I don't consider myself any higher or lower than anybody else. We're all on the same playing field, right? Mm-hmm. But I find that nowadays, when you meet a lot of the younger group, a lot of younger kids, they do geek out on you, but they freak out at the fact that you act like a normal person. I can't tell you how many people say, wow, man, I met you, Rey Parra, and I thought you were going to be this, and you're just a normal person like me, you know? And that's what I want everybody to know, man. The only difference between them and us is our careers, what we do, right? Outside of music, I'm a construction manager for Lennar Homes. Lennar Homes, that's a plug. They're the second biggest builder in the country, right? But I got all these guys. They talk to me every day. Not many of them know who I am other than the manager. You know what I'm saying? And when they do find out years later or whatever, they're like, dude, you know, I had a guy yesterday or the day before yesterday. He's like, dude, you're what? I'm like, bro, I'm just me. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to tell you and help you and guide you in the right direction on how to build me this product, build me these homes in the way that they need to be done. I'm no different than anybody else. You know, my shoes stink when I take them off, okay?
Ew, what is this smell?
Just like anybody else. All right, my hair looks funky when it actually looks funky now, but I'm trying to get that Bon Jovi look. No, I'm kidding.
At least you have hair.
Oh, I bet you have one or two hairs up there, Dave.
Oh yeah, you know, I got them. I got hair gel in there. They're slicked back right now. You know.
Nice. Is it wrong?
Is it wrong?
Earlier today, you and I were talking about these dogs, right? I couldn't sleep last night. 4:00 in the morning, I wake up and I'm like, oh, that would be a real cool podcast. My son Dylan, his girl Nicole, she sent me this video on Instagram. It's a dog getting his nails clipped. And as they're clipping him, he's like, ah! He's like, it's not really him, but it's somebody else making the voice like he's freaking out. And then they have these little cats like, man, I don't want to get in that. So I thought, and then you found a real cool one and sent it to me.
Okay.
And I thought that would be so cool to do a podcast and call it, Is It Wrong to Torture Your Dog? And what I mean by torture, I mean clip his nails, right? And play
Give him a
bunch
bath.
of those. Yeah. And I think that would be so cool. But again, I'm new at this. I have to figure out how to do that, but eventually we'll do it. But y'all, once you finally see this video, it's got like 200,000 views. So I know a lot of people have seen it, but it is I could watch it 100 times, and every time I'm going to laugh my butt off because it's so hilarious, you know? I'm a guy. I love to laugh. I love to have a good time, you know?
There's one my wife likes to watch. It's these people. I don't know how they did this, and you can tell it had to take a long time to teach a dog to do this. But they have a husky, and they have these little buttons that they can record words into. When the dog wants to talk to them, the dog will hit certain buttons, right? One of the buttons, it's hilarious, man. One will say "cry baby" and the other one will, say something else. One of the buttons, I can't say it, but it says a word that rhymes with witch, and the dog seems to always end everything off with that, right?
Oh my gosh, snitch, right? Snitch.
Snitch, yeah, that's the word.
Oh man. Oh, that's hilarious.
My wife come in and she's at the door there looking at me right now.
No,
say
tell
what?
Her I said. She say your mom.
What's that, Ray? No, my mom. No, dude, my mom's Destiny. With the Lord, man.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, Desiree, yeah, my wife.
Or Desiree, yeah. Tell her I said hello.
Ray says hello. She says hi. Yeah.
Oh man.
You said now you and Trissy been together 34 years?
Yeah, 34 years, bro. Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Wow. October was 20 years for us, man. Yeah.
Love it. We're going to do a podcast, her and I together, on just our lives and what it's like to have what we have, and what
do it. Yeah.
Do, Yeah, I think that'd be pretty good, man. It'll be I think it'll be a lot of fun. It's a lot of respect and a lot of love there. You know what I mean? She kind of
absolutely
smacks me around, keeps me in line. Of course, I have to sleep with one eye open and my firearm right here just in case, in case I make her mad. Speaking of firearms, dude, that girl is crazy good with my AR. Scary.
Wow.
Girl. Yeah, bro.
Wow.
Yeah. A couple times ago I forgot my glasses and she kicked my butt. And she's like, I kicked his butt. But not this time. I brought my glasses.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
Right anyway, on.
But let me just say this as far as firearms go. We're not into violence or anything like that. It's just all home protection and fun. No. That's all.
Absolutely, man. You got to be able to protect yourself and protect the ones you love,
Yeah. But, dude, I also want to talk a little bit about, some of these upcoming shows that Steve at the BMI Event Center is putting together. He's been pairing up a lot of secular bands with Christian bands. I think that is incredible. I think that's such a great thing to do. A lot of people can be blessed by that. I mean, dude, it's just an incredible thing, man. Where you can take secular bands and bring them the gospel without preaching at them,
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up because what was it? October at the BMI Center, Sacred Warrior opened for Queensryche.
Right.
How was that show, man? Dude, I so wish I could have been there, man.
Oh man, that was a great show. When I think I shared a little bit about this in one of my podcasts. When we got there, Queensryche's equipment was all set up, right? And they had already sound checked and everything. And just when you watch the videos of those guys, you see their whole set, you're like, wow. But then when you're there, we jumped on stage and we're setting up and it's like, okay, all right, yeah, we can do this. It's not all, like you think. It's really a huge production. But I will say,
Yeah.
my goodness, those guys, they sounded phenomenal, man. I was goosebumps every song. At the end of every song, I tap my wife in the arm and go, wow, just wow, you know? And it was so incredible. Nice guys. I didn't get a chance to talk to them very much, but you know, their drummer was the drummer from Camelot.
I did not know that.
Yeah, man, I didn't know till after the fact. George Ochoa told me, but I'm a huge Camelot fan, you know. But
Right on.
it was cool. It was cool. There's talk about us doing a show with Jeff Tate's band. I'm waiting to hear.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Yeah,
And you were, back in the day, man, you were compared to him, you know, vocally.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I remember being at a show in Wisconsin at I can't remember the name of the bar. This was my pre-save days, but I would have went even if I was saved just to see them. And the setup was there. The bar maybe only held like 200 or 300 people. They were just coming out with Queen of the Reich, and Jeff Tate they had a curtain. It was really cool, and I could hear him behind the curtain just you know, doing all these warm-ups and stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow, man, this guy's gonna be good. And they came out, and I think they opened with Child of Fire. I was hooked. That was all it took for me. I became an instant Jeff Tate fan, instant Queen Reich fan. And then in the later years, he did some weird stuff that, you know, I didn't like that much. But, I mean, the guy was a phenomenal vocalist. I just very much influenced Sacred Warrior right from the beginning, you know.
Yeah, and you know that's it's like a lot of people say that there were a lot of the 80s Christian rock and metal bands it had like secular counterparts or whatever the word is, you know what I'm trying to say, but like the Christian version of this band or that band, like, you know, I've heard people say, you know, Barren Cross, you know, sounded like Iron Maiden. You know, you guys sounded like Queensryche, or you know, White Cross sounded like Rat. Because Scott Wenzel, man, he sounded a lot like Stephen Pearcy.
Oh, so, yeah, man, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, and then X Sinner sounded like AC/DC. Yeah,
correct. I think what's really neat is God has placed a Christian band that sounds like a secular band at the same level almost, you know, as they would just. For people who will not listen to any secular music, but want to hear that type of music, they can listen to it in the Christian realm. I listen to both. That's just my own. I work on my own convictions and my relationship with the Lord. You know, a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
I've never had anybody dog me for doing it, but I'm very transparent about everything. So I do listen to both, you know. But I think that it's cool because when we play with Queensryche, you can be influential with people. And what I mean by that is this. When we play with them, Todd De La Torre, who's their vocalist now, in the middle of their set. Yeah. So if you weren't there, which you weren't, you wouldn't know this, but Bruce, like towards the end of our set, shared for about a minute and a half, okay? And he just said, guys, listen, we're not here to preach at you. We just want to tell you, you're going to hear Jesus in his lyrics. You're going to hear the devil. And we are just here to tell you what we represent. And if you're not there, we're not going to dog you for it, you know? But we're here if you want to talk. But basically, he just said, get saved without saying get saved. You know what I mean? And we're going to be here to share with you. And Todd, halfway through their set, came on stage and he gave us props for being a good band. But then he said, and by the way, what they said is true. So he affirmed what Bruce said about the gospel, man. I know him and Michael Sweet are buddies, you know. And dude, I've been praying for them. And I think that this world and the stage world is big enough where we could all be together and with one purpose, which the music, you know, but they have their message, or do they? And we have our message, which, you know, we do. Sacred Warriors always have the message of the gospel and retribution and resurrection and, you know, da-da-da-da-da. But as long as we were able to share enough where they received it, whether they spoke it or not, that we planted the seed, you know, and that's always been the biggest thing for Sacred Warriors, plant that seed, man. And in my personal life, it's the same thing. I have people at work that do some stuff that just, I want to smack them around. And I'll just talk to them just like we're talking. And then they're like, man, bro, you never lose your cool. You never get mad. I'm like, oh, I get mad. I said, but I don't outwardly show it in that sense. I said, but the biggest thing for me is I don't let who I am as a man, as a person, change with my situations. In other words, I'm me, whether things are going good or whether they're not going good, whether you make me angry or whether things are just flowing. I try to be me. So if you can always be the best you, then you never have to try to be someone you're not. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So that's me, bro. In a nutshell,
right on.
That's me. I know I talk a lot. Sorry, man.
No, hey.
It's a show about talking, right?
Yeah, it's a talk show, dude. And
yeah, bro.
It's your show, and I have the microphone, so you will listen to everything I have to say. You remember that from, what was that? Wedding Singer, remember that?
Oh, yeah. Hi, babe. Yeah. There's my wife. You are on a podcast now. Say hello, baby.
Hello, baby.
And there's Cody, the dog.
Nice.
Unscripted. That's okay. That's how we do.
Right on. Anyways, well, my wife came in too, so.
Yeah, so it's beautiful, man. It is beautiful.
Yeah, this is great.
But Dave, anything you want to say in closing? I know, don't hang up, guys. I know a lot of people, you get to the end of a podcast and they're like, oh, they're done talking, yada, yada. You never know. There could be something good at the end, right? But
well, what I'm going to say is, yeah, guys, if you have not hit that subscribe button for Is It Wrong with Rey Parra, hit it now. Hit the bell, share it, like the video, share it, blast it all over the place. And you know what? Do the same for the Covenant Metal Show. We're on YouTube also, and make sure you subscribe. We're on Facebook.
Absolutely.
Now you're going to have a Facebook page, or no, you do have a Facebook page, right? I already have
the Facebook. Yeah, it's Is It Wrong? Wait, do I have a Facebook page? I have my Rey Parra one, and I'll be posting everything on there. Yeah.
Okay. And then there you go, guys. Absolutely, all right, guys, man.
Listen, man. Remember, subscribe to both shows and send us messages on these podcasts. You can comment on them. Anything you liked about the show or didn't like about the show, things you want to see, things you don't want to see, and so on and so on. That's right. Use that keyboard. You know how to use that keyboard, David?
I'm still learning, man. I'm on lesson 2 and I'm learning how to use caps and the number lock. So,
hey, I'm still 2 fingers. No, not really. But listen, Dave. Yeah, there you go. But listen, man, I got none but respect for you, Dave. I'm glad that we did this. Thank you for all your help, and let's help each other out and let's get the word out. And just remember, guys, if it's worth doing and you love it and you think it's real, as long as it lines up with the word of God, it's not wrong.